Do you guys like blue food?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like blueberries.
Blueberries. Baskin Robbins is where it's at.
I thought that was an interesting one. It has nothing to do with anything with this movie, but I like that. Let's ask some random questions. Anybody got some random ones?
Oh, hi! Welcome. I'm Valen, and this is episode 3 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. Thank you for joining me. Last time on, we got some firm motivation from Percy to continue and move forward with this quest, heading to the underworld to save his mother, Sally. Where they go from here? I guess we'll find out. I mean, I already know, but just so the filmmakers can tell us. Let's find out.
Your father needs your help.
Oh, that's right. I remember we really just breezed over a lot of this. Yeah, that was like 2 lines of exposition for that. I'm surprised he didn't get to keep that. He was just like, nope, this is the attics. Oh man, some good smoke plume CG. They're actually doing it from the book.
You shall go west.
No way, dude. He's still saying it like he's super annoyed. Oh, they cut it off. Interesting.
You will confront the god who has rebelled against his brothers, Hades.
Again, putting it all on Chiron. He's like, oh yeah, of course it's Hades. Obviously.
I have selected our most compelling candidates, from
Oh,
which
interesting.
you will choose 2.
Annabeth, if the mission required someone to push me down a flight of stairs for it to succeed, you want someone who won't hesitate when they do it.
So he chose her because he wants someone that's okay with pushing him downstairs. Oh, that's cool. I love the Pegasus.
I'm gonna pack the best snacks.
I will never get over these cuts. I know it's for ads or whatever. I don't approve, Disney. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think they're Canadian, maybe? Or from Chuck E. Cheese, I don't know.
They're golden drachmas.
Yeah, bro, that is clearly gold. Classic. Got the flying chucks. The laces, like, pull into the wing. That's really cool the way they designed that.
I have a chance to rescue my mom. I can't let anything stop me. If it gets in the way of the quest, Annabeth might try to.
That's good. At least he is taking more than one element of it into consideration. Okay, so that is Thalia's tree then. From the trailers, it looked like it was, out somewhere in the Midwest, but that's her.
When Annabeth first arrived here with Thalia and Luke, they were being chased by monsters.
Okay, so they're bringing it back to the second half of the story then.
Zeus intervened to save her life and changed her form.
The most powerful being in the universe's best idea to save his daughter's life was to turn her into a tree?
That's a good point.
Do exactly as I say, and maybe you survive this. Are we clear?
Yeah, I don't know if I like the fact that he chose her. The bickering sort of element, it just conflicts a little bit, I think.
But if this is so important, why didn't Chiron spring for plane tickets?
You're a forbidden child.
They do have a lot that they need to, explain in this.
I want to vote on whether you get to decide we don't vote.
Grover, please, can you help here?
Oh, golly, the road's getting bumpy because I got me some...
What?
Dude, what are you doing?
Pretty sure that song is gonna come back around and hit pretty hard when it does. I'm wondering if she is thinking tactically with this, at least with the gum. Wow, I don't think that lady's important. She's probably nobody, right? Girl, your hair is in your eye.
Child of the big 3 is at the most extreme risk.
I wonder if they're ever gonna address Gabe being able to cover his scent in the same way as the shit in the back of the bus.
What a monster senses kind of depends on the monster.
Oh.
Some are better at sensing your inadequacy.
Okay, wow. So, there's Dodds again. Classic. How did you not see her, Annabeth? And alright. I probably should just stop asking questions. So they pretty much built the mechanics so that it's impossible to have a sort of conflict when it comes to this monster and smell this child because it's super simple.
What a monster senses kind of depends on the monster.
Is that why Hades sent you here? To gloat over a job you almost did right once?
Okay, they're trying to connect Thalia with Mrs. Dodds.
I wasn't that frightened.
Maybe so.
Why are you talking? Stab. Stabby.
I'm here to collect your friend. Bring him in quick and quiet. That is what I was told.
Guys, you need to open that window. Now!
She's suddenly very scared after being very calm. That's cool the way they're sort of working with the mist. Nice. Alright, yeah. They're showing us the alternate perspectives. I like that. This is one of the other Furies. man, it is easy to kill them.
What's a satyr path?
It's a road through the wilderness. Satyr explorers use them, harder to track us.
That's cool.
If we call camp, we're basically saying it was a mistake to choose us.
At least let's call your mom.
Call Athena.
Excuse me?
Interesting.
I'd call my father, but we aren't exactly on speaking terms.
He isn't aware.
He's on my side.
What makes you think that?
He's my protector. It's his job.
He was my protector first.
Whoa, we're going like, oh, so many different directions with this. It's crazy.
Thalia, Luke, and Annabeth had a satyr protector. That was you.
We're getting the Thalia story real quick.
Hamburgers.
The Garden Emporium, let's go. That was very, like, all over the place. That seemed like a really scatterbrained conversation, to be honest.
You should have accepted my offer when you had the chance.
Offer? What offer is she talking about?
Okay, they're setting it up so that Annabeth is looking like the one who's gonna betray.
The forbidden child has been claimed. How long did you think that secret would keep? I'm Medusa.
Okay, just no deception, just going for it, I guess.
She's a monster.
We all choose who we make our monsters, but
Yeah, going with the whole monster, not a monster.
not everyone who looks like a hero is a hero. And not everyone who looks like a monster is a monster. When I ship your statues to Olympus, maybe that will get my point across.
I think we can trust her.
What? Really?
My mom used to tell me her story. She isn't what people think. And I definitely trust my mom.
How do you know what your mom said was accurate? Okay, you know what? No, it's in character. He would go off of that, but oof. Yeah, well, a little bit silly. What is going on? Snacks. That is all poisoned. I'm not entirely sure what's going on anymore.
You're concerned I would hold a grudge against you simply because you are a daughter of Athena?
They're definitely taking her in a very unique direction. In terms of characterization. Seemingly docile.
The gift the gods gave me is that I cannot be bullied anymore.
Yeah, which god did that?
It was a curse.
Okay, so it was Athena.
Do you know the story of how I came to be this way?
Do I?
Does nobody remember? Nobody knows the story. Okay.
I worshipped her. I prayed to her.
Oh man, Medusa's story is actually so interesting. Like, it's one of my favorite stories from the mythology.
The sea god told me that he loved me. Athena declared that I had embarrassed her and I needed to be punished.
You are a liar.
What? How? You didn't even say you knew the story. So, as far as I can tell, it's like a really faithful rendition of the actual myth itself. There are a lot of different versions of it, but that one's pretty good. So does Medusa fit in at all in this grand quest, or is she just a side stop?
She's going to betray you.
Oh, they really are setting up Annabeth being the one that's going to betray him. And he was so quick to pick her to be the one to help him out on the quest.
A monster? My mom never talked about my dad that way.
Where is she now?
That literally has nothing to do with Poseidon. It is doing a good job of streamlining the motivations for the quest, though.
If you ask me to.
And they're doing a very good job of making her creepy. Really? That was the way they decided to go? As opposed to just going outside? It's literally just Alecto out there. Annabeth just killed another Fury with her knife. It's really, really easy to kill them. In the thick of it now, it seems. That is a big, high ceiling. Like, wow. Is that, like, magically extended or something?
Oh boy. Okay,
They didn't even have, like, a conversation about who was gonna wear the shoes.
We are not our parents until we choose to be.
Cool, Medusa. I'm just trying to find the exit, please. Damn, okay, girl.
You could choose to save your mother instead of doing your father's bidding.
I think that aspect of it is really good, actually, the way they're doing that. Trying to convince Percy to turn against everybody.
Let's have a look at you.
Head slice? Say something. Say anything. And he's got it. Dude, you could have taken her head off.
Now!
Alright. It worked, I guess. So, the hat didn't fall off. He couldn't have just done it with his eyes closed. That would have been like the same thing, and they could have just kept her eyes closed, right? Look, you know what? If it works, it works. Is he gonna give the head to Alecto then? But why? Oh, no, he's just using it to scare her off. Oh, he just killed her. Okay. He couldn't use a sword, she couldn't use her knife. Alright. That's fine. They did it. He found Ferdinand. I was wondering if this was gonna happen.
This is as far as he got on his quest.
Is your mother still alive?
She's with Hades. I appreciate your concern.
Guys, just please stop.
Yeah, they're really...
What are you actually doing on this quest, and why do I have to hear about this from Medusa?
Okay, while we're at it, you should have accepted my offer.
Yeah. Why are you calling him out when it's her?
The hat was a gift from her mother.
Okay, but how are we gonna make sure this thing is safe?
I'm not up to that yet.
Yeah, thank you, Grover. Call them out on their shit.
All day, I've been trying to keep this quest on track without upsetting either of you. What are you so afraid of?
What are you talking about?
You heard me.
They're addressing a lot of these issues, like, really early on in the show. We got a long time to
The
go.
Oracle said one of you would betray me.
Wow, we're hitting this early.
That's the rest of what she said to me.
I can't get, like, Gabe's New York accent out of my head with that. It's so funny.
We can decide that as long as the three of us are together, none of us are gonna be alone.
I think I've got a better idea what to do with this.
Oh, is he gonna do it? You put it in the box, ship it to Olympus.
They will see this as impertinent.
I am impertinent.
Hey, they said the line, yes! I'm so happy they said it. That made my day, honestly.
This way, part of your mom's still with us.
Thank you.
Plus, you should not be, like, leaving that around anyway, because that is a massively important magical item. Oh, here he is. Wait, how did they actually get it to him? Did he just, like, go to the Emporium and pick it up? It's cool how it just materialized like that. Looks a little upsetty spaghetti. Okay. Classic Lin-Manuel Miranda.
The kids know how to play craps?
Good stuff. That was a lot of fun. I don't think I liked it as much as the first two episodes, but it was still pretty good. So there we are. That's episode 3. I found a lot of it to be kind of wonky, frankly. It was good. I enjoyed it still. Not as much as the first 2 episodes, but I still found a lot of elements that I really enjoyed about it. Particularly the Medusa story. I wasn't sure how they were going to handle that, but I think they did a really solid job. They made her empathetic while also being kind of loopy in some ways, and definitely suffering on the inside, which led to what ultimately became of her. We've learned a lot of lore from this. It's hard to separate what I already know from what this show is explained to us, but it's given us a decent enough perspective into Poseidon, Athena, their relationship with the mortals, and how different people view them as monsters or these mighty figures. And I think Medusa was the perfect illustration of that. I think Medusa overall was very well characterized. There are some elements that might have been a little different. There are different accounts though. There's the original Greek, then there's the Roman version that sort of romanticizes it a little bit more, which naturally is the way it works. I also really enjoyed a lot of the effects, and I think actually Alecto, her involvement in the story, I'm gonna have to think on it a little bit more, but her involvement as this bargaining party, trying to just get Percy to be handed over willingly, I'm not entirely sure why she doesn't just try to take him. Monsters aren't really much of a threat, because you can just throw a bronze knife at someone and they'll just disintegrate. There is really no worry about their safety, like ever. The only concern was with Medusa, who obviously can just turn you to stone with a glance. So I'm not sure. There was a lot of issues when it came to the dialogue and the scatterbrain conversations, but I'll get to that in a second. They did a really good job bringing it around with the conflict at the end, where they had all these issues pent up, and they were all able to get them out and essentially just air their grievances. They did the whole argument consensus song thing. They brought that around. They did the mail. I love the fact that they actually mentioned the impertinent line. That's like probably my favorite line. If not, it's probably one of my favorite lines from the original book, and I'm so glad that they kept that in. There were a lot of cool mechanics that they brought in as well. With the satyr path, they elaborated a little bit more on where satyrs can go to avoid monsters. They went into a lot about the monster scent as well, and talked about how the back of the bus has the really bad bathroom smell, and that helps Cloud, but also each monster has its own version of what is the strongest scent. So they really covered their bases and added in a layer of insulation against any sort of plot contrivance. So that was good. Frankly, that was a really solid solution to a problem that I've been thinking about for ages. But Now that I think about it, it does actually have a lot of problems. I would probably have made it a lot longer. Obviously, that's not something that they have the power to do in every situation, and oftentimes it's going to be cut down significantly more than they would like to, at least the writers would like to. Their job is to tell the story, and if they're going to be restricted because of budget, it's going to mean cutting time, cutting scenes, just making it so that there's a lot less content in the actual episode, which sucks because that means that we have less to work with as an audience. But then there's only so much you can really do. So I don't know. I don't blame the writers for the rapid pace that's been happening these couple episodes. And now for the problems I had. First off, the fact that they were willing to let Percy choose who he wanted to bring on the quest with them in the beginning was an interesting choice that at first was like, okay, that's cool. But with how quickly he chose Annabeth, after seeing how much she disliked him, I don't know, would he do that? Would he do that? I don't know, maybe. There's just a little bit of cognitive dissonance that comes with that. When they were walking around in the woods in New Jersey, they had a lot of different conversations going on. Even going back to as far as Thalia's tree, when Grover was explaining Thalia's story and Annabeth came in and they started having their back and forth. That was their first, go around of it. And then they did it again in the woods, and there was just so many different directions it went. It went from Percy and his fears to Annabeth and her pride. In between these character relationships, their relationships with their parents, their aspirations for the quest, there were just a lot of things that were hit, and nothing was hit firmly, I guess. I don't know. It felt like we spent so much time arguing and discussing these points without actually saying anything. And the only thing that was really resolved at the end was, okay, we won't argue anymore. We haven't really gotten into a lot of those things that I think are important to get into, and it probably would have been better to stretch those conflicts out in minor pockets throughout the series until the end, when they finally reach the height of their conflict and resolve it then. Power scaling was another thing that was super wacky. Monsters are supposed to be kind of scary, and they just aren't. And that's not entirely sure why they made it so easy to kill the Furies. They had a lot of arbitrary things happen in the episode, it felt like. At least the final conflict felt very strange when Grover was in the air, Percy had his sword raised, his eyes were closed, he could have swung the sword at any time, and then Annabeth put the hat on and then they did it, and it's like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they had to do that. Why can't they just turn the head away, close the eyes, something like that? Maybe just make sure that they're not going to get in any sort of trouble with that. But they did want to use it as a point to illustrate its significance later on in the episode with Annabeth's mother. But I don't know, it felt like a lot of things that happened in this episode were sort of artificial problems created to make these artificial solutions. I don't know, and it feels a little bit hollow at the end, because it feels like the setup was not justified and the payoff is sort of a result of that unjustified setup. At least that's how it felt to me. You can let me know what you think yourself. It could have been a lot worse. We've seen a lot worse. So I'm comfortable in saying that I'm pretty okay with how this went, all things considered. I'm especially happy that they were able to walk Medusa over the home plate for that one, because that was really important, I think, to understand the perspective that a lot of people have of the gods and their children, the relationship they have with them, and how people generally view them as either these great heroes or these monstrous beings. So, with that being said, that is all for this one, and I'll see you in episode 4. Catch you later.